Today we're learning how to use the Pythagorean Theorem in word problems. So I have two examples that I'm going to show you today that are similar to what you'll see on your homework. So remember, the Pythagorean Theorem is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So that's the equation that we're going to be using on all of our problems. So my first example is a park is in the shape of a rectangle 8 miles long and 6 miles wide. How far is it diagonally across the park? So we need to determine what our sides are and what our hypotenuse is. So if I have a rectangular park and it's 8 miles long, so 8 miles here, and 6 miles wide, I want to know how far it is diagonally across. So that would be this line here, this dotted line. So that dotted line is across from my 90-degree angle. So this would be my C value in my Pythagorean theorem. So when I start writing my equation, this is going to be my A, the 8. B is going to be the 6. Now if I flipped those and made 8 my B and 6 my A, it's still going to work because we're still adding them together. So my equation is going to be 8 squared plus 6 squared is equal to c squared. From there, we can go ahead and start solving our equation. So 8 squared is 8 times 8, which is 64. 6 squared is 6 times 6, which is 36, and that is going to be equal to c squared. Now 64 plus 36 gives us 100 is equal to c squared. And then from there, we have to undo that square by taking the square root of both sides. And the square root of 100 is 10 is equal to c. So that would be my answer. So c is 10 miles. Okay, so the process is the same as the problems we were doing yesterday, but this time we just have some word problems. On my second example, a ramp is placed from a ditch to a main road 2 feet above the ditch. If the length of the ramp is 12 feet, approximately how far away is the bottom of the ramp to the road? So again, drawing a diagram is helpful when trying to figure out what is being asked. So we have a ramp. It's placed from a ditch to a main road 2 feet above the ditch. So my main road is 2 feet above the ditch. So if I have my road, my ditch is 2 feet down. So here's my ditch down here. So this is a 2 feet drop here. And it's saying the length of the ramp is 12 feet. So they're putting a ramp from the road to the ditch, and it is 12 feet. And we want to know approximately how far away is the bottom of the ramp to the road. Okay, so that is this part down here. So I'm going to label that B. So again, this is a 90-degree angle, so we know that Pythagorean theorem is going to work. So when we set up our equation, A is going to be 2 feet. So A squared is 2 squared plus B squared, which is what we do not know, is equal to 12 squared. So now we can start simplifying that. 2 squared is 2 times 2, which is 4, plus b squared equals 12 squared, which is 144. So now we have a two-step equation that we can start solving. So we're going to go ahead and subtract 4. Here's my balancing point from both sides. B squared is equal to 140. And then my final step is to take the square root of both sides. So the square root of b squared gives me just b. The square root of 140. Now this is not a perfect square, so I can use my calculator and type in 140 and take the square root, and I end up with 11.8. I'm going to round it, so this is actually about 11.8 feet, because I'm rounding it to the nearest tenth. And that would be my answer.